Okay, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, so we have a new guest on today. Her name
Hi.
is
Put this like that.
what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Her name is Shim.
Nice to meet you, Shim. My name's Ricky.
Nice to meet you.
We normally start off when we have a guest on the pod. We normally ask preferred pronouns.
They,
They,
she.
They, she.
Shim.
Yep. That's
Shay for
where
a
the-
Shim.
Shim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So let's retake this.
All right, what's up, everybody? We got a new guest on the show today. This is our friend Alyssa.
Hi.
And basically, we wanted to bring her in because we're having an intervention. She's an alcoholic.
Yep. It's your time to shine, bubbas.
Yeah. So, Alyssa, we just really think that things are getting out of hand with your alcohol use.
I've been sober.
Well, no, it's more so using it on like all your piercings,
Yeah.
you know, and cleaning things.
Right.
It's just getting a little excessive.
We'd prefer that you used non-toxic stuff.
Right. Because we are still trying to save that.
Any
yeah.
recommendations?
Simply Earth.
Yeah. Or even something as simple as mine or Ricky's urine.
Okay.
That's free.
Yeah.
That is free.
Well, not mine.
Not
I'm literally I'm drinking a $6 ketone drink, so
this
my
is true.
piss is actually worth something.
$3.50.
so I can't
give or
use
take.
sanitizer after the urine.
Correct.
We'd prefer not.
Correct. Erectly correct.
Is there a deal here?
I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah. At least we got to think about it for once.
This is true.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to get into today.
Yeah. We did a little. Well, Ricky did a little bit of researching for today's episode.
Researching and
Hey, do you ever watch like the shows with Ricky and I? Have you ever watched a full episode or just the clips?
I've started episodes
Okay.
and I've
So
seen the
that means
clips.
No.
Yeah. There's a part in the show normally around the 37-minute mark because that's halfway through. We have a fart contest.
Okay. You know what? I've been seeing 37 everywhere lately.
1037 is my number.
Yeah, I
always
remember
say.
that. 1037.
Kiss FM.
It's everywhere. Anyways,
I should put auto tune.
so shout out to Mr. Cult Daddy. That is the channel that I was watching that I learned about the telepathy tapes. It is on Spotify, Apple, everywhere, YouTube. If you have not listened to it and you want your mind absolutely melted, you have to go listen to it.
Hey, quiet on set.
9 episodes. 9 episodes long. They're right around like 45 minutes a piece. But essentially, this goes through just a bunch of different, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, trials and experiments with autistic children, specifically nonverbals. And what made me really sink into this is that this lady, she is a neuroscientist, Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell. So she was the one originally doing all of the experiments and tests, and we're
Oh,
talking.
you actually like fully screenshotted and circled stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool.
So like this is actually like tens and thousands of trials that she's done in the past, and so now this lady Kai Dickens, sorry, she's the host of the telepathy tapes, and so she's kind of doing.
There's just so many things.
I know. I know.
I know, but she pretty much recreates the experiments and just gets it real time for the modern age, if you will. And so then she made a podcast out of it. And dude, during the first episode,
Wait, she made a podcast about it?
yes, Kai Dickens. After that first episode, I was already losing my mind just hearing like the real time audio of what was happening. And so essentially, like telepathy, they were talking about like random word generators, random number generators, setting up in a room that is 100%. You cannot fake this. This cannot be essentially faked at all. X amount of cameras in the room, separate people in separate rooms, and then they're talking to this nonverbal autistic child who's got like either an iPad or like a pointing board. And so for the random number generator, someone in another room will generate a number and then be prompted. Another person will be prompted to ask the nonverbal kid, what number popped up. And they are right 95 to 100% of the time.
Wait, how does the nonverbal kid is writing it down?
Or on the iPad and touching. And it can be numbers, words. So Kai even brought her book from her house to one of the
Wait, hold on. Let me get this right. So somebody was thinking of a number, and the nonverbal autistic kid
That
picked
knows
the
it.
number.
Yes. So take one room. Someone's got a random number generated. Number pops up. This person's thinking whatever number's
Okay,
there.
got it. Now-
And then in the other room is where the nonverbal child is.
Yeah. Okay.
And on the iPad, they will say whatever number that is.
I get
and
it.
they are right 95 to 100% of the time. 5% difference.
60% of the time, they're right 100% of the time.
100% of the time. No, but that was just like episode 1.
Okay.
And that was a girl. Then it went to episode 2, and this kid was right 100% of the time. Like talking about going to a different room, randomly pointing at a picture. What picture am I at? What am I looking at? And this child on the iPad will say what they're looking at. And during the first episode, what stuck out to me, and it kind of got like blew past, but to me it was the biggest statement said in that episode. They were asking the child, they're like, are you able to see like through your mom's eyes, like the numbers and pictures? And they said, no, I see everywhere. And I'm like,
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I took it as omnipresent, bro. Like he's just sitting right here, but he has visual,
Like remote viewing.
remote viewing of the entire room. Like just him saying, and they like I said, they blew past it a little bit, but I just sat there with my jaw open. I was like, that was a statement to be made. Like I see everywhere, and so like it gets so deep, so deep, so deep.
That's kind of creepy.
Bro,
It is.
to the point where right now I think I'm on episode 3 or 4, but they're talking about interconnectivity, and I'm talking like through the world. So specifically, this one kid in Georgia is best friends with a kid in Utah, both nonverbal, never met anything, but a lot of these nonverbal people with these types of skills, they say that they meet up at this place called The Hill, and that's where they exchange information.
And what is the hill?
That's all up in here, something that we do not have access to, but that's where
Like a mental space.
mental space where nonverbals pop in to each other's space, and that's their congregational meetup spot.
Are they
call
the
it
only
Hill.
2 people that
It's not
express
just
that?
them. No. They hear this from a lot of people,
And they all
specifically
are
called
consistent calling the hill.
The Hills. Yes, consistently. And bro, I'm on episode 4. I cannot wait to get back to it. But like, dude, it's so much and it's so mind melting because like you're hearing it. You're hearing it real time as it's happening. And then there's like skeptics and everything because she wants it to make this experiment like as real, as close to the freaking books, scientific books as possible. So there are skeptics that she brings with. And they're sitting there stunned. Like they can't believe what they just saw.
Where is she a doctor of? Neuroscience?
She's just the host. So Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell, she was with Johns Hopkins and then went over to Harvard.
So it's legit.
She's an academic. She's a true academic, and she was the one doing all of the original testings. And like I said, then Kai Dickens found that and wanted to delve deeper into it. And
As much as this is like phenomenal and all this, like it's not very surprising to me. Is it surprising to you guys?
No.
Because I'm like, and I don't mean to say this in any sort of way, but like I would imagine that somebody with like ultra like instinct, basically like Goku and stuff, like would be kind of like
like just have more awareness.
autistic. You know what I mean? Like I was gonna say a different word, but like I would imagine them being like having character traits, because like imagine that you had so much going on in your brain like that, and if you could hear so many things or you saw so many things, like we would not be acting normal like this. There's no way. There'd have to be something, and maybe that's the reason why they do all those STEM things, because they have so many things and simulations going on that they have to like express it and get it out. You know?
That and double down with again. So the big overall takeaway from these podcasts is that like nonverbals, they're in there, they're knowing, they learn, they're like that person is in there. So it's just like,
I think
what
it's
if?
like ultra sensory perception.
And to the fact that they cannot tell you exactly how they're feeling, or they're frustrated because they can't do a specific thing, or no one can understand them, even though in their head they're like, yo, I'm talking directly to you, but you're not answering, you're not understanding me, or even just getting mad at their own body because it can't do something
Can't
that in the
communicate.
head it knows that it can do, you know?
'Cause there's not a lot
many
of them.
things.
Yeah.
There's so many things. But so I was sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, oh, okay, now this is all really starting to make sense. So it's strung along a few theories for me. Am
Like
I?
you started to question your own like mental state a little bit.
No, bro. Theories that are out there. So, hang in there with me. Everyone hang in there. Are you guys familiar about the theory of UFOs or aliens
Never heard of
being
it.
What
being
is that?
being future humans? Have you heard that?
No.
Yeah, like humans time traveling. Yeah.
Yep. So you've heard that,
Yeah.
even to the physical look of them. So take that theory, and now let's add exactly what we are talking about. So, no, sorry. Let me add another theory to it. Have you also heard that nonverbal autism is also the next step in human evolution? Have you heard that? Have you heard that?
I mean, I know that,
not
like,
nonverbal autism, but I've
Autism
heard
is becoming more common.
Autism and nonverbal.
I've heard nonverbal communication becoming the next step.
Specifically, it was speaking on autism for both verbal, nonverbal autism being the next step of human evolution.
Now, don't you think we're all somewhat telepathic on some level?
On some level.
Like, think about sitting at a restaurant and like someone is staring at you from a distance. You can't help but like look at them.
Yep.
Like,
you
how did you
feel
know that they were looking at you? Yeah,
feel that.
exactly.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I have a big theory on that.
So
Big one.
hold on now. So now take those two theories. Humans or aliens are just humans from the future. Autistic and autism. Autism is the next step in human evolution, right? So I've also looked up. So now let's just take the standard alien. What does it look like? Big head, big eyes,
Green or whatever, gray.
green or gray, pale skin, and heads shaped like that, right? Nice pointy round. So humans, specifically autistic children, nonverbals, because they have a sensory feeling, they only like to eat soft foods like yogurt and macaroni and cheese and everything. So now let's take an evolution of just the human mouth, humans in general, constantly eating small food. Their jaw is going to shrink. Their mouth is going to shrink because there's no longer need for all of those muscles in there because you're not chewing down meats. You're not chewing down different hard foods. And then on top of that, you're nonverbal, so you're not talking. You're not using those muscles to really form that out because everything's done up here. And so from inception, if that is the standard thing, and again, going through evolution, your brain's just going to continuously grow because that's going to be the main muscle that you're using to communicate with, to learn with, to do all that. So then now your cranium's going to expand up here, most likely. And because the jaw and everything shrunk, you don't eat all these hard foods, the mouth gets smaller. So I don't know what they're going to be eating at that time. But tell me that doesn't kind of line up exactly what with like those two theories. And even if you want to say, like aliens are in the bottom of our ocean, okay, take it a step further. Look at the color of the skin, the grays and everything. They're not getting sunlight. They're constantly like in a hidden spot, but they're not, let's just say for the sake of argument, they're not green. They're grays and just discolored skin. Again, that just lines up with that entire theory of humans or aliens being humans from the future and not needing to talk or have or eat hard solid foods because everything's being thought of. Everything's up here. That's how they communicate. That's how they work. That's how they get shit done. Like everything. That was sitting in my head. I'm like, dude, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm losing my mind because
Did you take mushrooms?
nah, dude. That was on a sober drive home.
Dang.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about the head thing though.
Why wouldn't it?
Because they say that we
dude.
only use like 20% of your brain as it is. So like, what if
That's
they just
us.
have access?
That's us.
Yeah, but what if an autistic person literally only has 2% more that they use? Like, because we don't know what another 1% would do. We
Exactly.
don't know what another 2% would do.
So now you're going to take that 2%, and that's going to be the
But they also say that
standard.
the grays are like this tall. They say they're like 3 feet tall.
Aren't there like so many different
not-
breeds of aliens though?
Yeah, supposedly there's different.
different breeds and everything. Yeah. Okay, so they're that tall. Again, what are they eating?
I don't know.
They're not
Or have you ever heard of
exercising a lot. Pleiadians.
Yeah, they're like from the constellation of Taurus.
Yes.
And they look like humans.
Mm-hmm.
They're like
the
pretty
Pleiadians
people
I've
though.
heard. Like, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It just makes a lot.
That's an interesting theory for
makes
sure.
a lot of sense because they're not eating the things that they would need to grow. They're not doing the exercises that they would need to grow their bodies. Everything is done here. They're meeting up with places up here, or with people at places up here. Like,
That's the part that trips me out
they
the
could
most.
vision themselves completely different. So why I need to work on my exterior if everything is done interior?
Yeah, that's the part that that trips me out the most is that across like different individuals, maybe in the country or something, that they're all saying the hill.
The hill.
Yeah,
that's
weird.
wild to me.
The hill. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, shame on you
Do you
for not
think-
listening, bro. Shame on you. I sent this to you a minute ago. I'll listen while I work. I promise. I promise. Fucking liar, dude.
Dude, I feel like I can't listen to that stuff sometimes because I'll like freak out. I'll be like, oh my God.
Yep.
Now,
what
don't
the
you
hell's
think if we
Yep.
were to like work on it, do meditation, whatnot, we could access this? Or is this like
I would say
solely-
yes. I would say there has to be because, like, even listening, again, going through the podcast, like, they do mention, like, everyone has this power. It's just the fact that they are solely working up here.
Well,
they
the
are going to
government
have that connection.
the government had a whole program for remote viewing
Mm-hmm.
back like in the 60s or something like that. So they like
Was it
they
Project
know that
Stargate?
people have psychic abilities. Like they have the ability to tap into other senses basically that we're not aware of day to day, you know? So I know that like my personal opinion is that they already know about this type of stuff, that humans are able to do it, but they don't want you to access it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if you could do it through meditation and stuff like that, though.
I think it would just take practice.
I think that's
practice,
what
like
it is.
Years
No,
of
this is
practice.
also interesting to me. I mean, back in the day, weren't people like way more intuitive than we are now because we're kind of spoiled with like
Everything.
being done for
Everything.
us. Now, for aliens, if they have the technology to come here, don't you think it would be harder for them to have these intuitive abilities to, or like they would be more out of touch if they have the technology done for them to even come here? It's a little
Well, at that
backwards.
point, they could have been so advanced
But
that
that's-
they developed, and then they just through their development, they were able to come up with more technologies. You know what I mean? Because like in different ways, we may be less intuitive, but we're also way more intuitive due to technology.
And I
than
would
we ever
say,
were
like,
before.
wouldn't
what do
it
you mean
just
by
be
that?
practice makes perfect? Like, because you didn't know how to use a screwdriver until you used it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to at least just try it and use it. Or maybe someone just told us, like, yeah, just turn it like that. Maybe it's that simple, you know? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be an explanation, or shit. It could be even a whole, like, oh, visit Earth collegiate level, like 101, you know, for some kind of college for aliens. So, you know, like, this is what you're supposed to do, like, keeping up with the times on Earth. Like, yeah, they're still fighting about the color of the skin down there, so be careful, you know? Like, I don't know.
Jimmy's such an
I'm coming
idiot.
back
He
to,
can't
like-
even levitate the vacuum.
It could be anything.
Like
This is first level stuff.
Hey, come on.
Or it's almost like we started off intuitive, we've got bogged down from technology and whatnot, and then now we're autistic and we're getting to that point of being aliens.
So, would you? I don't know, because I guess, like, I wouldn't say solely just bogged down by
Technology.
technology. I would say that it was more so thrown in our face, just constantly. And, like, yes, there are pieces of technology that have made great advancements for, like, the human race, but for a lot of the shit, like, bro, it's just laziness. It's not exactly what we need. But
Yeah, but what do you mean by intuitive?
Like I think of like native people they just like knew to use certain herbs and whatnot to heal their bodies. Like they just like
They were for sure taught. They were for sure taught. It doesn't matter. I would say
Well,
either
a
by
lot of those
mom
people say
or
that the trees
shaman.
taught them. Like the
they had
plants
these
taught
like
them.
they had like these perceptions that we don't have.
Drug induced mostly.
Or yeah, I was gonna say, or it was even the peace pipe just talking to him. You know, like I don't know. It's just I keep
also-
on coming back. I'll let you go.
I think we're stressed out too, like in this society
For
where
no
like we
reason,
don't
for
have
no
like
reason,
the
for no
ability.
reason. I call them amygdala problems because you think about what humans were stressing about, you know, couple thousand years ago. Like we are actually stressing about our survival. Just,
It was
we have
way
to
worse.
wake up and figure out how the fuck am I going to live today? You know, fast forward a few thousand years. Now I got to wake up. Fuck, dude, is Becky gonna be talking shit about me in the office
Yeah,
again?
dude, it was
like it's
way
a
worse.
complete different shift in
Yeah.
what problems actually arise, and so they're amygdala problems because that part of that brain was there. That's running off of primordial instincts of fight or flight. You know,
We also have
but then you
time.
have that. Yeah, exactly. But you have that now. You just have that. So now everything becomes a problem. Everyone's stressed. Everyone's got anxiety because you like the brain is so focused on worrying about shit that actually doesn't matter
Yeah.
compared to are you still breathing?
Yeah.
You getting some
Like,
water?
Back then it was survival. Now we're
Exactly.
worried about our next profile picture.
Exactly. So anxiety, I don't know, bro. Like that just seems like a mutation just humans created just to stress out because everything's getting easier in life.
Yep.
You know? I don't know. It's a weird one, man. But this podcast, bro, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And I guess to go back to your point, like, do you think, or your question, other people can like reach that? I would like to say yes, still, because like even for me, even though I truly do tap into it, and I feel that I do tap into it, it's not like I can control that, you know? Like it's every time I've told you guys stories, always super, super random. But like to me, that's chilling to the bone, and it's like a lot of the time, dude, that's freaking weird. But how else?
You're like,
how else
that's
does
so
that happen?
Raven.
That's so Ricky, bro.
Ricky's having a premonition.
Bro, like I don't know, but that one that still stuck out to me. I can't remember the name. You guys remember the story about the license plate? What we were or what the show I was watching? Everything.
yep.
Yeah. You remember it? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll tell the story. Super quick. I'll wrap it up quick. So essentially, I'm watching a show, and I really like this name that was mentioned on the show. So I bring it up to Jennifer. I was like, "How do you like this name?" She's like, "Let me think about it." So okay, and we were already planning to go somewhere. So as I'm pulling out to the main road, and I remember it was a V-Dub SUV pulling out right in front of me. I'm driving behind them, and I'm looking at their license plate, just something I constantly always do, and I see the freaking name right there on the license plate. At that point, just shook to the core because think about that timing, the string of events. I had to go watch that episode at that exact time, talk to Jennifer about it, leave at that exact moment just for that car to pull out and have that exact name sitting right in front of me. Like, bro, that doesn't just happen. It doesn't just get made up. Like,
Synchronicity, man.
whatever you want to call it, bro, it's weird. But like I'm dipping fingers in there. I'll tell you that for sure. Yo. Like,
You know what
I'm
they
dipping
say though?
fingers.
They say that like the more your brain is focused on something, the more opportunity you have to actually notice something. So like a lot of people like to like chuck it up to coincidence because like say that you never whatever the name was, say that you never would have ever like
Thought of
mentioned
it.
it in the first place, you wouldn't have even noticed that the license plate had that name.
True.
You know what I mean?
So that adds even more to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like that coincidence, I had to have known it
Yep.
at that time.
Yeah.
To notice that license plate.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first time I heard that name. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make sense. The
Yeah.
timing is crazy.
I do
bro.
think there are weird synchronicities in
Like,
life. Like I can't deny that at all.
No. Anyone does, like, I'm sorry, you got to open up your mind, bro. You just take some drugs, do whatever you got to do because this world is a lot weirder than anyone thinks it is.
That's kind of one of the that's one of the things that like with the Christian narrative that I'm kind of like that I don't understand why they they're so harsh about, like that type of stuff. I'm like, God is omnipotent. He has like the fact that people think that he wouldn't allow for certain things like that to happen just kind of like mind blows me. Right? It's like, why wouldn't he give humans 10 to 12 senses and we just like got blocked off, you know, to like, what do they say we have 5?
5 senses.
Yeah, 5 senses or whatever. Like, why wouldn't we have extraordinary abilities that like the government or somebody doesn't want us to realize that we have? Like, how do we know that the narrative hasn't been changed? That like, and in saying that like this stuff is like evil or whatever. I'm like, are we sure that all this is like evil? That,
of course not, dude.
That like you could maybe manifest some sort of reality or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm super not into the manifesting thing anymore, but I think it's interesting that like people are like, numbers don't mean anything or synchronicities don't mean anything, like don't hold weight to it. And like, sure, I don't think that you should hold weight to it and like get anxious about that type of stuff, because at the end of the day, like whatever is bound to happen is going to happen. And if you had like some sort of synchronicity and that like freaks you out, it's like, yeah, it freaks you out, but it's gonna happen regardless, so there's no point in worrying about it.
I feel like,
you know,
I don't feel like
when
it's
those
evil.
happen, it's a check-in from
Yeah.
the universe. Like, hey, like, yo, open up your eyes still, you know?
Well, I think that God, like, I had this talk with my mentor where I was like, I had like, I don't know, I had something like interesting about like my grandpa, and I kept seeing these numbers or whatever. And I was like, you know, I just feel like God is trying to tell me that like he's here, like he's watching me or something. And then my mentor was like, you know, God speaks directly. He doesn't speak vaguely or through. He's like, God speaks to you, speaks directly. He doesn't do like hidden messages type thing. And I'm like, yeah, but what if that's one of the ways that he speaks directly to you, is like through numbers and stuff, and gives you the ability like through numbers, because like numbers are created by God. You know, every single spiritual text. And I just went through 2 different books in the Bible where they talk about numbers specifically. Like the number 7 is the number of purity in the Bible. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Also, they mourned for 40 days and 40 nights. Well, what's the
Numbers are
significance of all
very
this stuff?
significant
Yeah,
in the Bible.
and-
You just
no.
have to look for it.
Well,
You
no,
really
you don't even have to look for it. They literally tell you that. It literally
You have
tells
to
you.
notice it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
know
yeah.
what you're...
You have to understand that like
yeah.
that there is significance to it, and that the Bible is telling you there is significance to these things. And so like it blows my mind kind of when people are like, nah, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it does it not matter? Like, I'm not going to use those like again, like not to get anxious or to like bend reality in space and time or whatever, but like to say that it's completely just void of any sort of meaning.
I mean, I would call BS. I mean, and especially even kind of just going back to just manifesting and the power of thought. Like, let's actually touch on that really quick. So you said that you're not really about it anymore. Let me ask why.
You want to ask?
Yeah, that's what I want to
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Because I think that, thank you. I was like, where the hell is that thing? All right. So, as now a man of faith, right? I'm not saying that manifesting is like evil or it's like whatever, like it's like a bad thing. But what I am saying is that I think that trying to manifest reality for most people can be a bad thing rather than a good thing.
So you're specifically talking about manifesting a specific type of reality compared
An outcome, a
I
goal,
could see that.
whatever.
It's like you're not living your life. You're like focusing on like the reality aspect of it.
Yeah, well, and I think that with a lot of these woo-woo spiritual practices, and manifesting is one of them, dude, back in when I was into manifesting, something that I noticed that was like a common denominator all the time between me and other people who manifested was that I actually did the work, you know, and like other people who like tried to manifest reality didn't do the
It's
work.
like I'm gonna light a candle and like write down my intentions.
Yeah,
on a
and
new
then-
moon and call it a day.
and that's it. And I'm like, well, if that's the way that you're going to live your life and then you keep not getting your goals, that's more of a detriment to you than it is a good thing, because you're constantly letting yourself down, constantly. And then you're going to have a bad attitude about it all the like, there's no way that like a positive comes from that. Only a negative will come from that, because you're like, well, shit, life always kicks my ass. Nothing ever happens for me. It always happens to me. I tried manifesting. It doesn't work. You know, like all that stuff. And like, I've heard it time and time and time again. It's like, yeah, dummy, because like you have to actually try too. Like, what do you think that it's just gonna pop out of thin air? You literally think $1 million in a briefcase is gonna pop out of thin air,
Dude.
You know, like it's not, it might like you might be the autistic guy that can make that happen, but like as far as I know, I don't have too bad of autism, you know, so like that's not happening for me at least, you know. So, but what I will say is that there are instances in the Bible and in other religious texts that lead me to believe that they knew something about this that we don't know. In the book of Solomon, King Solomon asks God, or God tells King Solomon, if you ask, you will receive. And so King Solomon, instead of asking for riches, instead of asking for power, instead of asking for all this stuff, what he does is he asks for wisdom. And because he got wisdom, all the other things came after that, because he like knew everything, right? And so like I believe, like people are like, oh, the universe. I'm like, okay, the universe may be an aggregate to get to God.
Yeah.
Like he may have put this barrier between us. I don't believe that to be true, but say that
do.
it is true.
I do.
He
But
could have.
I have
say,
reasons.
Say that that's true. We don't even know what the universe means. Nobody knows what they're talking about. When you talk about the universe, you're talking about God.
Well, yeah,
Like, you know
I would
what I
almost
mean?
say it's a different word.
Right, but people don't want to associate it with
There is a
religion.
specific word, and I just heard it literally yesterday. I cannot remember it. It is in the Bible. It is a Jewish word, but it essentially means that God is in the universe.
The genie.
Huh?
A
Well,
genie.
he is the universe.
No, like yes,
Yeah.
but God is the universe, but He's also in the universe. So what he is like, what that statement was pretty much just saying is God is everywhere. He is inside our
Yeah.
reality and outside of our
God is. God is.
Is.
He
Yes,
is.
he is.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, and so
But here's my question: don't you think prayer would be a form of manifestation?
I was just about to get into that. So to me, it's why are you circumventing the question? Why are you going somewhere else than going to the source? Right? Like if you wanted to get muscles in the gym, you wouldn't go outside and ride your bike. You'd
Right.
go to the gym, right? And you'd lift weights.
It's a terrible analogy.
But it's like you get what I'm saying though.
get
Like,
what you're
when
saying,
you
yeah.
want something, you're not gonna go to something completely like you just go directly to where you need to go. You want food, you're going to the grocery store. You're not gonna go to Target most times unless you're grocery shopping at Target. You know,
are
what I
you
mean?
saying
So I can't go
that
to Target
church
and
is
manifest?
the place to go?
No, because I don't even necessarily believe. You know what I think church is for? I think church is for community. I don't really think that it's for like worship. I think
Agree.
it's a community thing.
Agree.
So church should be in your home. Like that's what I believe. And so like I pray every single night.
Church
But-
is here.
Yeah.
Like that's where you talk to God. That's where you everything. And I forgot how the statement goes,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially everything that you were looking for in God, He's put inside of you. You
Mm-hmm.
have to look inside. That's where you find the knowledge. That's where you find what you are looking for by
Mm-hmm.
looking deep inside. If you want to talk to God, who are you talking to? Yourself. What voice do you hear? Your conscious voice inside of your head. You know, like that's everywhere you need to go to connect with God. And that's the way that I was brought up. That's the way I learned. That's the way that I know it to be. And like, yeah, that's the reason when, like, not the main reason or the sole reason, but like, I know I don't have to go to church to love God.
No.
Because church is for community. And I
Yeah.
always thought that. I
Yeah.
always thought that because, like you said, if you want to talk to God, get it from the source. That's
Yeah.
right here, bro.
Yeah, and
Right
so like
here.
so prayer, yeah, I think that is the highest form of manifestation. You look in the Bible, Jesus meditated. Jesus like did fasting. He did all these like woo-woo spiritual practices, but it wasn't to be spiritual, it was to get closer to God. That's why he did this stuff. You know, meditation, prayer, fasting, all these like hardships that he went through, like it was all to get closer to God. I think people are like severely missing the point
Of
with
like,
manifestation.
Mhm.
Because they're so
there needs
jaded.
to be work put behind it.
I think
Well, yeah.
spirituality as a whole has become such a trend that people are just practicing it because it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
and it's a trendy
yeah.
thing to do. Yeah.
Well, I see
mean-
so many of these like hippie gay dudes that are like, I'm gonna go do ice baths and sauna and all these things are gonna solve my problems or whatever, right? Like I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna manifest, I'm gonna do sauna, I'm gonna do cold plunge, all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you guys are like completely missing the entire point. Like the entire point is not like so
The
like
external, but the internal work.
exactly, yeah, it's the internal work, which like doesn't like. I always say like ice baths and sauna, they're cool, they're great for you, they're good, but like people believed it to be like some sort of personal development, and then that's not like where the actual work happens. What that does is it gets you, like we talked about this yesterday, that gets you calloused to hard things, but that doesn't mean that you're working on the ability to actually work through hard things. You're able to deal with it, but that doesn't mean that you've become a better person from it.
Exactly.
It's like building tolerance to a difficult thing.
Exactly, which to be honest with you is not always a good thing. Your ability to tolerate hardship is not always a good thing if you don't know how to like get better from it. So like if you get hit with a sword one time, right, and it cuts you, and then you get hit again, it's a little bit deeper, and you keep getting used to it. You're like, the next time that sword hits me, it's not even gonna hurt me. Okay, cool. We'll chop your arm off.
Yeah, that's
now you don't
fucking
have an
hurt.
arm. Yeah, now you literally don't have an arm. You know what I mean? It's like stupid, because if you were like really were worried about that, you would put armor on then, right? You would put more armor on.
Oh, that's how they got the name. Because they were always chopping at arms. Dude. It makes so
Damn.
sense now.
Yeah.
It just hit me. It just hit me now. Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible how that works.
Yeah. So I think people are severely missing the point. And I think a big reason why the spiritual movement came up was because people are jaded by religion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Like for manifesting, yeah. I think if it's done in the correct way, it's a true as hell thing can be. Because like, that's just simply the power of thought, you know? So let's take it as simple as that. What is that microphone before it was a microphone?
Nothing.
Nothing. It was a thought. Somebody manifested for that to happen. Clearly, there was work put behind that, but the main thing was that thought, that manifestation of, I like the way this looks. How can I get my voice? And it's just thought, constantly going until, boom, here it is. We're talking through it now, you know? Like, that's why I do believe in power of manifestation. Only if, there's freaking work behind it. Because like you said, like you can sit there for 1,000,000 days thinking, I wish $1 million will pop up, $1 million will pop up on my doorstep. I can guarantee you $1 million will not pop up on your doorstep within those 1,000,000 days because you didn't do anything to get there, you know?
Yeah. Well, and there's something to be said too, because like people like Elon Musk and like Nikola Tesla and all these different people, they all talk about getting downloads, right? They
I
like
was
get
actually just going to
downloads.
bring that up.
Yeah. And like my thought is like they would say from the universe, and my thought is no, you have higher purpose and you were given the purpose from the source, God.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that manifesting could be real. But what's like really real is the power of thought, intention, and movement, momentum. That's what's really real.
Would you say that, let's just say the overall term of manifestation nowadays has just kind of been perverted?
Yeah, because people just think that like they can just like manifest a boyfriend.
What is that movie on Netflix?
Secret?
Yeah, The Secret. I feel like that is so damped down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing to it
On
too.
Netflix?
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on.
It's been on Netflix
it
for a
used
long
to be
time.
on Netflix for sure. I don't know if it still is, but it definitely was at
Yeah,
one point.
it's a book too, I think.
I'm going to have to
Yeah,
watch it.
I watched
know
that-
it won't.
it-
You're gonna watch it
movie
and be
so
like,
many
this
times.
is so repeated.
Well, that's
And
where
it's
everybody
so like
got
this.
it from.
It's all magic. You just think about it, shows up.
Yeah. yeah, literally.
Were we just talking
Isn't
shit
Joe
on-
Rogan in the movie?
I don't.
No, he's not. He's.
I was
in
gonna
some
say it's like
movie,
before
man.
he like. I feel like it's an old movie.
You guys
no,
aren't
he's in DMT, the Spirit Molecule.
you guys aren't talking about like Secret's Life of Pets, right?
No.
Okay.
no. Pets be manifesting stuff.
Oh.
dog.
Those okay. I think that they are also creatures that truly do get in touch. At least specifically speaking, dogs can truly read someone, like their people's mind that they do come up with a connection with. Because some of the stuff that Ash does, bro, absolutely blows my freaking mind.
Yeah.
Like, so I know this means absolutely nothing. But if I'm gonna go game, let's say, Jennifer will say to Ash, give me a kiss goodnight before you go with daddy. He will walk over there, lick her face, and come with me and go over there. It's not like this dog knows English, but it feels the intentions that she wants. I'll ask him, Ash, do you need to go pee or poop? If he needs to pee, he'll stay by the door. If he needs to go poop, he will walk over to his poop bags, use his nose, and then go over by the door. Like it's just a lot of crazy things. Like even so, what was that, yesterday, 2 days ago, when I told you that I was listening to that song, I just bust down. When I got into the game room, Ash was chilling. He was sleeping, knocked in the living room prior. Came over, sat on the bed, licked my face twice, put his head down. Didn't call him over. He had no reason to come over to me, but that's exactly what he did. Like, that kind of stuff doesn't just happen, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they are connected to a certain point, truly.
No, they're tuned in for sure, dude.
Yeah.
And I think that you can actually like have a crazy connection with your dog that is inexplainable. Like
Yeah, I
Flex
wasn't
knew
expecting it.
when Rachel was pregnant both times.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was really weird. And he knew when Rebecca was pregnant too.
That is why.
And that was super weird. And then even like to the like to the point when we had to like put him down, like I could tell that he was telling me that it's okay and that it's time, you know, and like that tripped me out.
Yeah.
Like
how did he
felt
do
it.
that?
I don't know.
It's in the eyes, dude. That's
Yeah.
what I always feel. Like, even
Don't
with
know.
Ash, it's in the eyes. Like,
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, and I'm like, I love my dog. Don't get me wrong. I love my dog. But I'm not one of those psycho dog fanatics. Like, oh my God. No. But, like, there are some times where I feel like if I'm looking, like, I will have a full-blown conversation with my dog, damn well knowing he will never speak back to me. But I hear answers in my freaking head like I'm a crazy person. But it's just like, no, like, it feels super normal.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm truly connecting with my dog on
Yeah.
this plane. You
Yeah.
know? It's very, very odd.
I think you imprint with dogs.
or
for
they
sure.
imprint on you.
Yeah.
Like Twilight.
Yeah, like Twilight.
Make him fall in love with you.
Exactly. yeah. Well,
Oh, so the question, and I'm very happy that you're here because this is a good podcast for you to be on for this time. The question that I had.
wait,
for,
do you think more people would have voted for Kamala Harris if she threw ass up on stage?
does she have ass? I don't know. I feel like I don't want to see it. That's almost kind of like looking at grandma shake ass.
You don't-
know?
you don't wanna
so
watch?
off topic.
Super
Why are we
off
talking
topic.
about
Well, because
like what the collective consciousness?
yeah, exactly.
Get one person to vote for her
Yeah.
for that reason. Now all these people are
well,
going to do
because
it.
she had Meg the Stallion throwing ass on stage, you know. So you don't think that people would have voted for her if she would have threw ass too?
Probably not. Like,
Okay,
you
forget it.
Probably
Just
wouldn't
tell me
get
what-
my vote.
Yeah,
You know,
just-
like,
what you were gonna say?
Yeah, what were we going to say?
don't like it. So the question
You gotta watch the
that
reel
I
I
had
sent you
for
last night.
Justin, bro, sent him a whole voice message on it. But so when you're dreaming, and let's say you're dreaming and you run into, I call them IBF, imaginary brain friends, just people that you create out of your mind, you know. But that face that you see in your brain had to have been somebody that you've seen in real life, you know.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is you cannot create an original face.
Yeah.
So the question that I asked Justin, I was like, do you think the reason that is because we do not have the capability as God, like, to create human beings, so we don't actually have the I don't know, extensive creativity to just create a face on our own? And I said, I forgot what the other or was. I'd have to listen to the message again, which I have it. Essentially, are we being capped on our creativity, or is it
original piece as in like a human being? Or is it that there are too many possibilities, aka humans, to actually create a face that doesn't already exist?
That's what it was. So which one do you think it is? That there's just too many possibilities for us to actually create a face that doesn't already exist? Or do you feel that our creativity has been capped from, let's say, God.
It's a really good question.
Or higher being. Because
I don't know
we
that it's
can't
impossible though.
But we-
why
Yeah,
can't
I don't know
we?
either. But
can't.
also, like, I feel like I've seen so many people at this point.
Yeah.
How do I know that I haven't
So
seen them?
nothing's going to be an original piece. So how can you? Like, we are the original pieces of every person that has been born. We are the
It's
original
almost like,
piece.
can you think of a new color that you've never seen?
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, that's it.
I can't.
So does that equate to too many possibilities already
See, and
being
this
out
is
there?
the thing. Like, I feel like,
Or
like as
creativity gap.
humans, I mean, we make decisions and we do things based on like our life experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I think being creative itself is a glitch. And I think it is kind of like what Elon Musk says is, it's like we have downloads, or ideas that come into like humanity. I feel like hasn't there been times I can't even think of a reference on this, but like people invent things like multiple people around the world at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, collective consciousness.
Yep.
I think it is like downloads from
Downloads
like the
that.
source.
And I know I had to download myself.
I think creativity is like a God-given talent. Do you guys think you can nurture creativity? Like, can you teach it?
To a point. I would say to an
Yeah.
absolute point.
I feel like to a point, but some
Ooh,
people just
ooh.
have the ability to tap in
No,
more
I
than
don't
others.
think-
Creativity.
it.
No, I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't
you
think.
can. I was really
Yeah.
rethinking that question. Creativity, I don't think can be taught. You
I
can,
also think people that have it though need to practice it because it's like a muscle.
100%. And like the
Creativity can go away for sure.
Yeah,
it can be
it can go away, but it
so
can
many
come back too.
forms.
Yeah.
so many forms. Like personally, like look at each one of ourselves. You know, like creativity for me, I would say nowadays my most creative portion of me would be in writing music, you know, and making music. But taking it back even to high school, it was coming up with like music, coming up with different shirts that we wanted to roll out, like coming up with tricks for just skating. Like it was just kind of like all over the board. And then taking it a step back further, exactly what we were just talking about, it was all drawing, you know, and art for me and painting and XYZ. So it's just like it comes in waves and comes through so many different channels. You just got to really, grab it, use it, take hold of it to keep it going. But I think it can definitely be lost. 100% be lost.
Yeah. I almost feel like if I
muscle
don't
memory.
have a creative endeavor that I'm working on too, that I'm not fulfilled.
Yeah, it definitely like makes me happy. Executing an idea, it like literally makes me happy.
Yeah.
And if I don't do it for some time, I get like depleted.
Yeah.
And I guess too, I don't know. Because like for me, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I kind of have like a creativity ADHD. Because like when I will go on my dry spells, or just like writer's block, you know, then I have to absolutely find something else that I can be creative in. Just no matter what it is. Like shit, what is it? I know it's not exactly creative, but just because I didn't know how to, and I was having writer's block, I learned how to actually play Sudoku.
Huh.
I have learned how to do.
So you're saying during your dry like spells, you like
spells.
tend to like tap into like other random things to like
Yes, and-
stimulate yourself?
yeah, like I feel a little
I'll do the
embarrassed
same thing.
because like I will find out how to do magic tricks or specific
Interesting.
magic tricks or what was the other one? Morse code I learned.
Okay, here's another like kind of off topic
So
from
weird.
this.
It's so I feel
But like
so judged.
no, I'm not
You
judging.
are.
You are.
Hell yeah.
What?
You guys want to see my magic trick?
I feel like
So good too.
yeah, I kind of want to see this.
Yo, if you got a deck of cards, I'll bust it out right now.
I actually, for real, don't.
I'd have
And if I did, I would have no idea where they're at.
some at my desk, but anyway.
I feel like
Next.
I've like, tapped into like tarot and astrology like in times I'm not creative. But yeah, going to like this other topic, like Do you feel that it's also a creative person thing to kind of think outside the box and think bigger than other people?
Agree. I would say yes. And mainly, I'll let you gather your thoughts, but I would say yes because take the analogy, you're looking through a keyhole. That's going to be most people. They see a portion of whatever they see through that keyhole, but if you open up that door, that's the big picture. Most
I
people
shouldn't
don't
s-
open
yeah.
up that door.
I shouldn't say think bigger, but it's like the ability to do things on your own. Like
Oh.
not working like this 9 to 5, but like just knowing that you have something.
I don't think so. I think that that's also like a God-given thing too. I know so many creative people that whether it's they have the inability to picture it or they just don't have the balls, I don't know which one it is, but that don't ever do it.
Would probably say a risky game, especially if your life, if you're used to your life going a specific way, you know, and then you get a huge wave of creativity that you would want to make a change because it could better your life, you know. Most people aren't going to take that jump because it's a risk.
It also depends on like what you're considering to be creativity. Like if you're only thinking in a form of art, then for sure no. But if you're thinking about creativity as just the ability to conceptualize and have a concept, execute a concept, because I don't think this is something that I've actually been thinking about like a lot lately. I don't think that creativity is only constituted by what kind of art can I make.
Oh no, that's
You
what I
know?
said, it comes in different forms.
Yeah, because my coaching business, I used to consider an art form. Like I used to really think
the
that
way
it
you
was
would
creativity,
execute it.
the way that I executed. And so like, but I think that in general, like if you're talking like artistically minded, creative type people, I don't think that those people almost ever do anything great. Like obviously their art is great, but I don't think that they almost ever do extraordinary things. And I feel like a lot of them are way more minded, scarcity mindset, than they are big picture people. Like for me, one of my like I think best attributes is that I have the ability to see like 10 years in the future and be like, okay, I understand what I have to do. Like I get it and I can see the big picture. You know, so if you want to talk about like manifesting and visualizing, like I am that guy. Like I can see everything clear as day. You know, like I literally like think that I can see into the future what my future looks like.
So somebody that is not creative at all, they kind of just think black and white. Do they have the ability to make something big?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, because I don't know. I feel like they go so hand in hand. Like one can't be brought up without the other because
Yeah.
let's just take, a creative person and an analytical person. Like the creative person is going to come up with all the thoughts and ideas, and then the analytical person is going to bring it to life. And I'm clearly not talking about art because an artist that's going to be up there, they can bring it to life if they have the skills.
I mean,
Clearly.
you kind of have to be creative to make something of your own.
I don't think so. I think you have to be risk forward and not adverse. I know people who are really creative but don't know how to utilize it to like the best of their ability. You know?
Me, bro.
Yeah. Like no, seriously. Like
For
real. Like,
but even like Jai or whatever, he has like a great catalog of music, but he just cannot picture releasing it for whatever reason. Like he's scared.
and
You know?
it's that risk. Everyone's their own enemy.
Right.
Their worst critic, like everything.
Yeah. So now actually like thinking about your question, I don't think that has anything to do with creativity. I actually think that has everything to do with being like okay with risk, being okay with failure. I think that a creative person maybe has more of the ability to see a broader spectrum of things, but somebody who's more analytical can see how to get there,
I would
or
say not all of the time.
not all the time. There's one person specifically that I'm thinking of that I know for certain wants to be an artist, cannot be an artist because they don't see things the way creative people see it. They see it mathematically.
I know who you're talking about.
And then
We
the
all-
second thing is that they're limited by mindset in order to actually achieve like really big things because they cannot see 5 to 10 years in the future anything that's outside of the realm of white picket fence and a 3,000 square foot house. Like, so I think that it kind of requires like somebody who's like, I don't know, like crazy almost. Like there's a level of crazy that has to be there.
There is.
Like to make something big.
Yeah, I mean,
I think just like literally, I think there has to be a certain level crazy to come up with an idea, thought, bring it to real life, and then have other people actually use this thing. There has to be a certain amount of crazy.
yeah.
I think that's why I say like what I was saying before, like the downloads, like having an idea come in, you have to be creative for like that to happen. Like, okay, I want to make this business and maybe the business is only black and white or it's not even a creative business or anything, but you have to come up with the idea to even execute it. The name of the business, what the logo is going to be.
But there's
Well-
I would also say that there's a very, very far spectrum of creativity because like let's think of a super fucking boring job, a CPA, right?
yeah.
You are sitting at a desk punching numbers. But this is my business.
Yep.
As me, an analytical person who doesn't have much creativity, I'm probably going to call it Love It CPA. Call it done. Let's
And
get
it could
the
be a
money.
Yeah,
multi-million dollar business.
Yep.
I mean, like the number one person in my life, Heather,
Dude, don't talk. Oh, hell.
besides you, she won't get mad at me saying this. She's like not creative at all. She has like zero creative bone in her body, but her business that she decided to create makes a shitload of money. You know, so like, I don't know. I personally don't think that there needs to be that. I think
Too
that
much
there.
creativity, like for
Yeah.
for that instance, for what she does, let's say the portions of creativity that she would be working with would be the name of the business and what the interior will look like.
And even with the name of the business, like I helped her with the name of the business.
And the logo.
And then you did the logo, didn't you?
Yeah,
So-
I did. I actually
yeah.
kind of want to update it.
So
Yeah.
that's all of the creativity coming from other people, but nothing from her, But she was still able to bring a business about.
Yeah.
And now people are coming through the door. She's making money. So like, yeah, I say that they go hand in hand. You can't have
Yep.
one without the other. And there is a fine level, or there's a very large scale of creativity.
I think the best types of things that happen come from people who like partnerships, right? Like people who are willing to take risk, and then other people who are analytical in nature and can kind of see things for what they are. So like, albeit like my gym failed, I didn't have a problem with taking a risk. And so like, and
Then can you call it a failure?
I look at it as a failure,
Failure.
like real life, like what happened. Yeah, it's a failure. But did I like I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like I actually just came to terms with this. Like it failed, I failed. That's fine. It's not a big deal.
There's
Like
still a choice.
it's a choice for sure. Well, and there's other things that happened, right? But it's still failed. The business just failed. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, which is it's okay. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I still did something that most people will never
That's
try to
why
do.
I wouldn't call it a failure.
Yeah.
Because you took that first step. Everything that we've been talking about, you had a vision, the creativity to bring it about. You brought people together to make this dream come true.
Yeah.
You brought it into existence at that point. Like you took that risk. You did the things that you needed to do to be creative, to, make it work. And because of certain plays that were made,
Yeah.
it didn't end up working. So
Yeah.
like I'm not going to sit there and call it a failure. Like a failure to me is like you're going to bring that up, you're going to bring it up day one, and then you're not going to do anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I get what you're
know?
saying for sure. Yeah.
Like-
but like I think that so like what I think is like
Or even thinking of it and then not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's a fail.
oh for sure that yeah.
So-
but like doing like people who can have big picture thoughts, ideas, see a broader spectrum, and come up with ideas to make stuff happen, and then having another person who's analytical, how do we actually make it make sense? That's like the best way for things to like thrive, in my opinion.
I would agree because
Yeah.
you are getting truly the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's how I see it. And so I'll kind of keep it a little vague, but to go into the download story, just because it still freaking weirds me out to this day. They know this was what, last year, October, right around the same time, maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago, October. But I was going through whatever
yeah, this
was
was a year ago.
happening to me, That was a year ago?
From October, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever.
Alyssa just has dates like imprinted in her.
Well, it's because like
I
we were
know.
talking about it, and like I don't know, but like either way, I know.
And
it was
I
October.
know I lived in Tosa at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I was going through a bunch of stuff. I just call it spiritually going through a lot of stuff, and I was playing the Badger 5, super fun. So there was this moment where I'm watching it that night, playing the Badger 5. I got 4 out of 5 numbers right. I was like, oh my god, I was so close, so close. Week later,
Oh, that's lottery.
yeah,
Okay.
do it again. 4 out of 5 numbers right. I'm like, you're just playing with me now. You're just playing with me. Like I know I'm gonna win this thing. It's gonna be next week. I could feel it in my soul that I was going to win. I was gonna get a bunch of money. Like all that. I just felt that feeling. Next week rolls around. 3 out of 5 numbers right. So I was like, oh my god, I felt it so hard. And I specifically remember this moment. Me and BSG, we were playing Fortnite, and it just, bro, it hit me like the biggest brick to the freaking face thrown at point blank, because I started to cry. It wasn't a cry. It was a tear. It was a heavy tear. But I took off my headset, put down the controller, and just like, oh my god, like had to take that deep breath, and just tears started falling down. And why I was feeling that way is because and I truly do believe this, I was conversing with God, because this whole time I was manifesting, I'm gonna get rich, I'm gonna hit this lottery, bro, it's gonna happen again, to the point where I'm telling people I'm hitting the lottery next week. You just watch.
Now, do you think you manifested that or
let me
predicted it?
finish. So this is the download portion. I didn't win that lottery on that third week. I only got 3 of 5 numbers right, so I got $2, right? But the information that was downloaded into my head, that was the lottery ticket, because at that time, sitting here, and it just hit me, that was the dog food topper idea for Ash. And it made sense in my head, is like, instead of having that $1 million that just appears on your door because you're manifesting it, no, here's a how-to
idea.
plan on how to bring this to the world. That's your $1 million.
Yeah.
That's your lottery ticket. And it is a thought, and it has been burrowed in my head, never will leave. But just that thought produced tears, because I understood it's like, I didn't win the lottery, but a lottery idea just got downloaded in my head. And then every time I'm still thinking on it, boom, I think it was the same week, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting there in bed trying to fall asleep. And for one of my ingredients that I have to use on it, it was like, okay, I have to use this ingredient. I have to keep everything the same. How do I make that ingredient? Another hit right to the head. Like, okay, let me find out if that's a thing. Sure as shit, it's a thing. There's only 2 makers for it of this specific item that I have to use. And so I was like, there's no way that this is fake. Like, this is for real, downloaded information straight to my head, because what I was thinking about, not many people think about. Not many people are going to sit here and Google search it, but like it is out there. It is out there, and I had to buy it, and it works for freaking A. It actually works for what I intended to use it for. So it's just like, when you talk about downloads, yeah, I kind of do believe that, like I had no reason of thinking it, had nothing, but it was just that simple idea that caused that reaction. And that is literally what I think about. So that is my downloading story, and or talking to God story, and or just connecting with the universe, like whatever you want to call it. But
I
that
think we
shit's
all get
real,
subtle
bro.
downloads all the time.